We'll talk about it. Donald Trump reveals visit to Britain could still go ahead. Donald Trump and Theresa May have said they will talk about the state visit of the US President to the UK as the two leaders met in Davos at the World Economic Forum. Both leaders refused to confirm if the controversial state visit of Mr. Trump to the UK will go ahead. Mrs. May and Mr. Trump admitted they will talk about that during a tense photo call at the World Economic Forum, but neither gave any clues as to when it might take place. Speaking as he met Mrs. May in Davos, Mr. Trump sought to kill off suggestions of a rift sparked by her rebuke over his retweet of videos posted by a UK far-right group and his decision not to visit London for the opening of the US Embassy. Declaring that he wanted to correct the false rumor of a transatlantic falling out, he assured Mrs. May, "We love your country." And Mr. Trump said he expected trade between the US and UK to increase many times over the coming years. The trade concepts and discussions that will be taking place are going to lead to tremendous increases in trade between our two countries, which is great for both in terms of jobs, said the president. We look forward to that and we are starting that process pretty much as we speak. Mr. Trump said he wanted to correct a false rumor of a transatlantic rift. Meeting Mrs. May for talks shortly after her keynote address to the WEF, Mr. Trump said, "There's a false rumor out there and I just wanted to correct it, frankly. We have great respect for everything you are doing and we love your country, we think it's truly great. We are working on transactions in terms of economic development, trade, maybe most importantly military. We are very much joined at the hip when it comes to the military. We have the same ideas, the same ideals, and there's nothing that would happen to you that we won't be there to fight for you. You know that." The world leaders shook hands after Mr. Trump told Mrs. May, "There's nothing that would happen to you that we won't be there to fight for you. You know that." Responding to his comments, Mrs. May spoke about the special relationship that bonds the two countries before touching about on the need for working for a good trade relationship in the future. She said, "As you say, we've had a great discussion today. We continue to have that really special relationship between the UK and the US. Standing shoulder to shoulder because we're facing the same challenges across the world and, as you say, we're working together to defeat those challenges and to meet them." Earlier this month the US President cancelled a visit to the UK to open the new US Embassy in Vauxhall, London, tweeting at the time that it was in an off location and a bad deal. But the US President has been dogged by speculation he cancelled the visit amid fears of protests. The US sent Secretary of State Rex Tillerson to open the new building. Mrs. May and Mr. Trump's relationship has been strained at times in the turbulent year since the US president took office. The Prime Minister criticized Mr. Trump for sharing far-right videos about the UK without properly verifying the content they contained. Mr. Trump tweeted at the time, "Theresa May, don't focus on me, focus on the destructive radical Islamic terrorism that is taking place within the United Kingdom. We are doing just fine." Following Mrs. May and Mr. Trump's meeting in Davos, a Downing Street spokesman said, "The Prime Minister updated the President on the good progress which had been made in the Brexit negotiations so far." The two leaders reiterated their desire for a strong trading relationship post-Brexit, which would be in the interests of both countries. The PM and President concluded by asking officials to work together on finalizing the details of a visit by the President to the UK later this year.